Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. It's wonderful to be here with you. Just going to take a minute while people come in from the waiting room. Just take some moment for Zoom to process. It's wonderful to be with you. And if you would like to put in the chat where you're joining us from, here, I'll get spotlight myself to make it easier. If you want to put in the chat where you're joining us from, that would be wonderful. I am Christine Valters Painter. If you're new to Abbey of the Arts or to our tea or any of our programs, you are very, very welcome. And all of our old friends are also very welcome. And I'm joining you here from Galway in the west of Ireland with my husband, John, who's down the hall from me, and our wonderful program coordinator, Melinda Thomas, who's in North Carolina. So we are spread out all over the place, and it's great to see the places showing up in the chat from all over. Ooh, Okinawa, Japan. Welcome, Adrienne. I think that might be one of, and Warsaw, Poland, all over the US, the UK, Ireland, Canada as well. Beautiful Dublin, Hashings. Wonderful, wonderful. And there's probably others that I missed, but I won't scroll through all of them now. Scotland too, I see. So it's wonderful to be with you. We are excited to be sort of gently transitioning back into our fall programming. Some of you may have joined Simon DeVoyle and David Wallace for their beautiful Psalms program that they've been leading for the month of September. And now that September is almost done, we are going to be transitioning into Eyes of the Heart program in October, but I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. But first, today is the evening of the Feast of the Archangels. So tomorrow is the official Feast of the Archangels. And I wanted to offer this tea today in part because my book, The Love of Thousands, on honoring angels, saints, and ancestors, just came out in August. So I'm very excited about that. And the first chapter is on honoring the archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel. And we're going to be, in a moment, I'm going to invite us into a meditation with the archangels, because that's part of our practice together. Is I can't give you a cup of tea in person, so you bring your own tea and I lead you in the meditation. So I'm having a little chai tea, which is one of my favorites. So I'll take a sip of that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to lead you in a meditation. There'll be a little bit of time for reflection and some sharing of the images in the chat, which is always really rich and lovely to see how the prayer is moving in your hearts and through us as a community. And then we will share a bit about some of the upcoming programs, particularly for October and November. There'll be time towards the end for questions and comments, and then we'll close at 45 minutes after the hour. So with that said, let's move into our meditation. So I'm going to pull up, first of all, a little kind of placeholder slide. And this is our lovely dancing monk icon that was created by artist Marcy Hall. Marcy has now done 41 icons for us, which is pretty amazing. This is the only icon that features multiple kind of figures, but we wanted to put the archangels together. So this is just sort of a little visual anchor for you, but you're also welcome, of course, during the meditation to close your eyes if you feel more comfortable with that or more relaxed. So I invite you to take a few nice deep breaths and just begin to slow yourself down and bring yourself fully here to this time and place. And to first, just to notice how your body is, and to shift or stretch in any way that would create some spaciousness, allowing a moment to really let your awareness drop into your body. And at any time, of course, during the meditation, you're welcome to move in any way that feels good. And then to gather your thoughts, your attention, and your awareness from all the places it might be scattered. So you may be thinking of to-do lists or conversations you had or travel plans or whatever might be on your mind today. I invite you to imagine that you're calling your attention back to yourself. And taking a deep breath. And letting your awareness drop into your heart center. And sometimes it can be nice to give your heart a little rub, just to feel that sense of physical connection to your body and to your heart. And to imagine that you are entering into the sanctuary of the heart, this cave of the heart that the mystics tell us is exactly where the Holy One dwells within each one of us. Every single being, every person you meet has this spark of the divine shimmering in their hearts. In fact, every being that you meet has this spark of the divine shimmering within them. And we can rest for a few moments into the embrace of that infinite source of compassion. We can soften everything, our thoughts, our heart, our body, and let go of the need to do, to achieve, to produce, to strive, to grasp, to reach. We can let go of all of those inclinations, all of those things that our culture validates, and take the radical step of simply resting for a moment. Allowing ourselves to be held and to be met by that sacred presence within, however we name that for ourselves. And then we're going to be calling in the presence of the archangels one by one. And so I invite you to begin by inviting in the presence of Michael or Michael. And Michael is known as the warrior angel, the guardian, the protector. And all of these archangels, while they do have masculine names, they're not actually gendered, right? Angels don't have a gender. So you can imagine them in any way that feels alive and nourishing to you. So welcome in, Michael. to your right side. These directions that will be inviting them to sit at actually come from the Jewish tradition of inviting the archangels to surround us. And so Michael helps us in those places of our lives where perhaps we need to set stronger boundaries. Maybe consider the places where you need that fierce protection that Michael offers. Michael also is said to be the one who stands at the threshold between this life and the next. And so you can also call in an awareness of anyone that you know who might be near that threshold in your lives or have crossed over recently. Just asking that Michael bless and protect them on that journey. I'm just noticing if there's anything else that you would like to ask Michael's blessing for. And breathe in that gift, receive that blessing. And then inviting in the Archangel Gabriel to stand on your left. And Gabriel is known as the messenger. We meet Gabriel several times in the scriptures, particularly in the New Testament and the Christian scriptures. Gabriel comes to Mary, of course, probably the most famous depiction of one of the archangels. And Gabriel is the one to appear before a young Mary and give her this invitation that God has extended to her. And it is up to her to say yes or no. So Gabriel is the messenger, the one who brings us our own holy invitations in our lives, our own moments of sacred connection, of sense of purpose, of clarity, of discernment. And Gabriel is also known for helping us with communication as well. So thinking about in your own life, are there any places where you're looking for some clarity, some sense of direction? Or maybe you've been given an invitation and you're listening for that sacred yes or that sacred no. And to know that both those options are holy choices. And so asking Gabriel for a blessing on all of our discernment, all of the possibilities that we are either seeking or pondering, receiving that gift of blessing in our lives. And then inviting the Archangel Raphael to stand behind you. And Raphael is known as the healer. It's said that he is the one who stirred the waters at Bethesda, by the pool where people were healed. And so we can contemplate, where are we seeking healing in our own lives right now? This might be physical healing from illness or injury. This might be mental illness, any struggles with depression or other kinds of challenges that we might be having with coping or anxiety. These might be challenges of the heart, relationships that feel fractured, trust that has been undone in some way. Raphael comes to bring us this gift of healing, this gift of journey toward wholeness, knowing that healing doesn't necessarily mean cure, but it means a return to our original wholeness, to remember that we were created in this wholeness. And so Raphael comes to help us remember our original nature as whole and beautiful, just as we are. And so we ask Raphael for that gift of blessing upon us and on anyone else in our lives who might need those blessings of healing. And then finally, we invite the Archangel Uriel to stand in front of us. And Uriel is known as the bearer of wisdom. And so we might consider those places in our lives where we feel a bit lost or confused, or we need some sort of wisdom to help us deepen into our relationship with spirit, with the divine. Perhaps we are getting in our own way. And we can ask Uriel for the wisdom to seek a bigger source of vision in our lives. So inviting in that gift of blessing, the gift of wisdom for ourselves as well as for our collective, that where our world is hungering for the wisdom to move forward in ways that are both less destructive as well as life-giving, so that all may thrive. And then finally, returning back to your heart center, into the presence of spirit, the divine, the Holy One. And returning to that sense of being centered in the sacred, and feeling the presence of the archangels surrounding you, Michael on your right, Gabriel on your left, Raphael behind you, Uriel in front of you, and feeling them as a shield of protection, of support, and lifting you up as you move into your day and into this season ahead, this new season. Let me just give one last blessing and gratitude for the gift of these archangels as we sit here on the eve of their feast day. And if you're listening to the recording, it might be the feast day or after, but to know that when we enter this meditative space, we enter time outside of time. And then taking a few deep breaths and just very gently coming back, bringing your awareness back to the room in a gentle way. I invite you to take a couple of minutes to either to write anything that you noticed or discovered, what shimmered for you, what invitation did you hear, or you can simply continue to rest into the quiet for just a couple of minutes. So I invite you to do that. to rest and reflect. Just another moment or two, and if you'd like to share any images that came to you in the chat, you'd be most welcome. It's always a joy to see what has unfolded together. I am reminded that I need to slow down. Thank you for being here today in these prayers and reflections. Beautiful. Yes, slowing down. I think that's just the heart of what we're called to do, and everything else falls into place once we're able to make that commitment. So thank you for that. Love to hear any other insights that came, any other images of the archangels, or any sense of what arose for you. A reminder to me to call on the archangels. Beautiful. I felt each presence. They reminded me they are with me. Yes, isn't that wonderful? Thinking about how saying no opens up space for a sacred yes. Yes, 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 yes. I love no as much as I love yes, because it's such an important word for exactly the reasons you say. A sense of assurance and an image of the equal armed cross, me in the middle, angels to the four directions. Beautiful. A reminder to stop getting in my own way. Be versus do. Lovely. Such a shield of protection in the shape of a diamond. Love that. How the archangels surround us on each side for our protection. Yes, isn't that just a marvelous image that we can return to when we need that kind of support? Beautiful, beautiful. Well, if there's anyone else, you're free to share in the chat, and I will read those out. And then we're going to look over some of our programs here in a moment. See, Ray feels so close to me and begs me not to be so hard on myself when I have challenging days. Ah, that's lovely. I think a lot of us can probably relate to that. Pay more attention to the people God brings. Beautiful. Feeling their protection all around me, that saying no can be just as sacred as yes. Yes, yes, yes. I love that. Beautiful. Thank you, my friends, for dwelling in this sacred space with me. I've had pain behind my right knee that I feel like it has been healed. Ah, wonderful. We have sacred companions that accompany us each day. Yeah, it's one of the things that the reason that I wrote the title of this book is The Love of Thousands, is because of this sense. When you think about the tradition of the archangels, and then you think about the guardian angels, and you think about all of the saints and mystics, and then you think about all of the ancestors, the love and the longing from beyond the veil of those who want to companion us is pretty remarkable, and something to treasure and something to cultivate a relationship with. Gabriel reminding me in seeking direction and transition that Jesus says, follow me. Beautiful. Invitation to believe, trust that I am not in this alone to figure out. Yes, yes, absolutely. We have that support. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Thank you, my friends. Well, you're free to enter anything else in the chat that you like. I'm just going to share a couple of things that are upcoming. We have our wonderful, amazing Lift Every Voice book club continues on. And I feel free to say that because I have this amazing partner in the conversation, Claudia Love Meyer. Claudia Love is just a treasure. And we get to have these conversations, these rich conversations with these beautiful writers. And this month coming up for October, well, this month right now in September is Therese Taylor Stinson's beautiful Harriet Tubman book, which I highly recommend, even though we're at the end of September, I highly recommend getting a copy of. Therese is one of our Wisdom Council members. But next month, Letitia Ochoa Adams has this book called Our Lady of Hot Messes, which is just probably my favorite book title ever. Getting Real with God in Dive Bars and Confessionals. It's a really powerful story about how her faith completely changed when her son committed suicide. And so it's very powerful and tender, but also funny. And anyway, I really recommend getting a copy of the book on October 1st. Our conversation with Letitia will go up on the website and to our podcast channels. And then Monday, this coming Monday, October 2nd, we are returning to our contemplative prayer services. So please join us for that. I'm so excited to be joined by Simon again this year for these monthly services. And then each month we'll also have either a guest musician or a guest teacher. And this month we have Spencer LaJoy joining us, who's a beautiful musician. And they have this very powerful song that some of you might have heard called Plowshare Prayer. And they'll be singing that song on Monday, along with a couple of other songs. Our theme for Monday is the breathing together of all things, which is an image that comes from Teilhard de Chardin. So we're very excited to be returning to the prayer services Monday. And then Therese Taylor Stinson, who I mentioned with the Harriet Tubman book, she's doing her centering prayer, her monthly centering prayer session on October 20th, which is always a Wednesday, usually the third Wednesday of the month. And then we have some special events for October. As I mentioned, Eyes of the Heart, which is a book I wrote about 10 or 11 years ago now, because it was right when we first moved to Europe. So a good long time now. Eyes of the Heart is about the practice of contemplative photography and learning to see with eyes of the heart. And I know a lot of you really love that book in particular, and we've had a retreat that we've led over the years, but we decided to return to it and kind of revamp the whole thing and add a whole bunch of new content. So Claudia Love Meyer is doing some sessions, and Amanda Dillon, who some of you have encountered on previous retreats, who does these beautiful reflections on visual art, and Aisling Richmond, who's a dear friend of mine here in Ireland, who leads some beautiful meditations as well. We'll have a weekly live session. John is going to be offering scripture reflections. It's going to be a really beautiful feast. So if you love the idea of committing to some contemplative photography, you are very welcome to join us for that. And then on the 16th is a free event, which is our Love of Thousands book, album, and prayer cycle launch. So not only did I write this book on angels, saints, and ancestors, but we have been working behind the scenes for probably about 2 years now on putting an album of songs together. And it's a really beautiful album. I'm very excited about sharing it with all of you. And a new prayer cycle. So I know many of you really love our free podcast series of prayer cycles on themes like Earth Monastery and Monk in the World and Soul of a Pilgrim and Mary, of course, Mary, Birthing the Holy. So that we're going to have a Love of Thousands prayer cycle, and we're going to be starting to release those podcasts on the 15th of October, and then our launch is going to be together online on the 16th. So please join us for that. We're really excited about it. And then Claudia Love and I are going to be leading a retreat at the end, a mini retreat at the end of October. It's just a 2-hour retreat on a Friday. And the theme is decolonizing contemplative practice, cultivating a loving, liberating presence in the world. And this is inspired by the work that we've been doing for the book club. So I'm really excited just to be reflecting together with her and with all of you that join on how do we free ourselves from our inner patriarchy and our inner capitalist and all of those things that that kind of entrench themselves in the way that we see the world, and how do we help free ourselves from that. And then on October 30th, at the end of this month, I'm going to be doing a little ritual online with Mercy by the Sea, online listening at the threshold voices of saints and ancestors. And for those of you who might be interested in going a little bit deeper with the Love of Thousands work, I'm doing a 3-session program through Spiritual Directors International in November. Simon's going to be offering music for that. We're going to be offering a 14-week course starting in January to go through the whole book together. And then also very excited at Advent and Christmas, we're going to be doing an expanded version of the Give Me a Word process that we've led for many, many years here at the Abbey. And we're going to do a whole kind of in-depth version of it. So I think that might be all for the moment. So I'm excited about all of those possibilities. If there's, thank you, Melinda, for putting that link in there. Yeah, all of those things can be found on the calendar page. So we have a few minutes before we come to a close. If there are any questions that you have, it can be about our programs, it can be about the Abbey in general, it can be about something existential. Anything that you might like to ask that I could possibly answer in the space of 10 minutes is most welcome. And then we're going to close in a few minutes with the Archangel Invocation video, which is a beautiful song that Simon DeVoyle created and recorded. And then Betsy Beckman created a beautiful dance meditation video, and you're welcome to receive that as a gift or enter into that as a embodied practice. So let's just give it a moment here and see, does anyone have any questions or any comments or anything that they'd like to see? Do you have any pilgrimages planned? We always get that question. We don't for the foreseeable future. My health has not been great, to be quite honest, for many months actually, and we've decided to hold off on any in-person programs for the foreseeable future. So I'm sorry about that, and we will see what the future holds. But thank you for asking that. I do miss gathering with our lovely pilgrims. We do have one in-person program that's coming next spring. Maybe Melinda, you can put the dates for Awakening the Creative Spirit, which is being led by Betsy Beckman and Casey Hewlett in the Pacific Northwest. And that's a really powerful 5-day kind of deep dive into the expressive arts, particularly for those who do some kind of soul care practitioner work. So you'd be most welcome to look that up and find out more. So wishing you good health. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Angelica. And then I have a message here. Can you tell us a little bit more about the longer ancestor class in January? Yeah, so some of you might have been in the Lent retreat that we did last year on this material, which was 7 weeks long. And it's going to be in a similar format where there's going to be a weekly live session with me. There'll be a weekly scripture reflection. There'll be some Visio Divina meditations with some beautiful art from Elise Ritter. There will be some guest teacher conversations. And so I'm excited about those because there are 14 of those with people like Carl McColman and Carmen Acevedo Butcher and lots of wonderful guest teachers. So those will be up weekly as well. And Betsy is putting together some beautiful movement practice videos for our songs that are coming out in our album. So it's going to be a very rich, rich time, and the 14 weeks will really give us time to dive into each chapter and have that sense of spaciousness. Thank you for the blessings, Olga, and thank you for the health blessings, Brenda. Susan asked if there are going to be any more online pilgrimages. We do have one scheduled for next April 23rd to May 1st, I think are the dates. It's for Bealtaine or Beltane, and we'll be exploring Saints Coleman, Cerny, and Patrick, and we've already done the recording for it. Very excited. We'll be welcoming back some familiar faces as well as some new ones, including Noreen Riane, who's an amazing singer here in Ireland. Some of you might be familiar with her. She's going to be joining us as well as her son Michal O'Sullivan, who's a poet who many of you have attended his poetry readings here online with us. So be well. Thank you for telling me I look radiant and lovely. I I hope that the lighting helps, but I'm feeling pretty good this week, so I'm grateful for that. Not a very spiritual question, but I'm curious about the illustrations behind you by the tree. Is it a white dog with wings or a bear holding up his arms? So that image that you're looking at there is an icon that Marcy Hall created for me many years ago of two of our dogs who had passed over the veil. And the white one is Duke, who was 120-pound bull mastiff mix. And the Great Pyrenees mix, and he looked like Falcor, the luck dragon from the Neverending Story. He was the first dog that John and I had together, and we had him for 10 years. And then on the other side, you can't see quite as well, but it's Tune or Petunia. She was an old Weimaraner who we gave a really good retirement to. So anyway, those are my my beloved dogs who passed over the veil. And of course, now we have Cerny, who's our little black wire-haired terrier, who is thankfully doing well. Right, and let's see. Oh, Sustainer Circle too. Yes, thank you for reminding me of that, Melinda. So we also have a Sustainer Circle program. The doors for that close on Saturday. And it's for those of you who are able to help us support some of we do a lot of free programs, the book club, the prayer cycles in particular, the scholarships that we offer for our programs. And so if you're able to help support our work through the Sustainer Circle, there's different levels and different programs included in that. We are most grateful for that, and grateful for all of you for all the ways that you support us. So thank you for that. Beautiful earrings and necklace handcrafted reminded me of falling leaves and the seasonal change. Yeah, I love, love, love autumn. So this jewelry is from a jewelry shop in Riga, Latvia, which does a lot of beautiful nature-based jewelry. What about writing a memoir? I do actually have one sort of percolating, but it's going to be a little bit of time before that, because right now I'm finishing up a Midwinter God manuscript for those of you who've taken the online program. And also, let's see, what else do we have? We have a lot of program. I'm writing a book of blessings as well. So, and then I'm starting a project on writing about 7 medieval women mystics and who lived past midlife. And I'm sort of coming to them with this question around what wisdom they have for living past midlife in meaningful ways, not just for women, but for men as well, for anyone who wants to embrace the sacred feminine in their lives. So that's what I'm really diving into now. And finally, let's see, curious to know more about your life story and weaving together the contemplative life with the outward ministry. I love that question, Emily, and thank you for asking it. And I think I'm going to have to hold it for another tea with the Abbess, because that would be a long thing to explore in our last couple minutes. So thank you, everybody. All right, I think we're going to move into our closing song video. Again, this is from, let's see, from Simon DeVoyle. The song is the Archangel Invocation. And the dance is from Betsy Beckman, and you're welcome to join in the movements or simply receive this as a prayer. So let's call the archangels back in here to be with us. And I will pull this up. And let's listen together.
Michael, come Gabriel, come Raphael, come Uriel. Be by my side, there's a place for you here. Be by my side, there's a place for you here. Michael, come Gabriel, come Raphael, come Uriel. Help me to heal and share light in my world. Help me to heal and share light in my world. Michael, come Gabriel, come Raphael, come Uriel. Rest in my eyes and my ears and my touch. Rest in my eyes and my ears and my touch. Michael, come Gabriel, come Raphael, come Uriel. Compassion and wonder and healing and grace. Compassion and wonder and healing. Compassion and wonder and healing and grace. Compassion and wonder and healing and grace. Raphael, come Uriel.
Thank you, everybody. Taking a nice deep breath in, just keeping that imagery in your heart. Thank you for the comments in the chat. I'll have to read some of them over in the chat transcript after. Thank you for all the blessings and the gratitude. It's always a beautiful gift to be here with you. So, my friends, hopefully we will see you on Monday. Simon, who sang that song, will be co-hosting the contemplative prayer service with me, and we'll be joined by Spencer LaJoy, and we hope that many of you will be with us. Yes, and the Love of Thousands retreat, as Melinda mentioned, includes a whole week on teaching about the archangels, so we'll go into a lot more depth about that. So may the archangels Michael and Gabriel and Raphael and Uriel help surround you and hold you and protect you, heal you, guide you, and call you into new possibilities, my friends. Always a gift to be here with you, and sending much love from the west of Ireland. Bye-bye.